Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You're tuned into Radio W.O.R.K.S. My name is Sharon Ryan. I'm your host, and I'm from South Africa. And today I'm so excited to be a part of the Radio W.O.R.K.S. family. Thank you to Marina Nani for allowing me this opportunity to share my story. Imeology is what I am all about, and as the word it is as it sounds, Imeology. And Imeology is a self-originated concept that birthed itself through my own journey in search of myself. 6 years ago, I walked away from a life that it took 44 years to build as an entrepreneur and just decided that it wasn't working for me anymore. Dissension set in. I wasn't happy. I was stuck in a routine, waking up every day, doing the same thing. And I constantly had this feeling that there had to be more to my life, that there had to be more for me. I had so much more to give, and I just wasn't feeling it where I was doing what I was doing. So I took a very brave step and I walked away, moved to another province, from the Eastern Cape province of South Africa to back to Johannesburg, where I am originally from, and started a journey inside of myself. I became a master life coach, NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist, and I opened a life coaching practice called Free Spirit Life Coaching. But like most things in life, just when you think you're there, you start to feel, well, something's still missing. And after a year of having that feeling, I decided to close my life coaching practice and go on and study other stuff. And I did numerology, I did color, light, and sound therapy, I did quantum theory and chakra and chi work. And through that process, I actually realized that the more I learned, the less I knew. It was everything I learned was pushing me further and further to read more, learn more, watch more, until I did the energy work, until I started to work with the chakra vortex, because that's when I actually realized that everything that I was looking for was really inside of me, and that I was the answer. It wasn't even that the answer was inside of me, I was the answer. And through that journey birthed Imeology. Imeology it does not belong to me. It's something that came through me, and I have followed its lead ever since. And the power and the guidance and the direction was so profound in my life that I had to find a way to share this with the world. I started writing a book, which I'm writing at the moment, called Mastering the Art of Being Human with the Intelligence of Spirit, because that's what my journey taught me, that what the head doesn't understand, it does not acknowledge, and it will not accept. And journeying into my heart was a very strange experience for my head, as I think it is for most people, and what we all struggle with today as we look at spirituality and consciousness, and the head being guided and driven by what society expects of us and expects us to be, and the spiritual side, which seems like this fluffy kind of space. And I began to put things together from the perspective that it made sense to my head. I had to always, from a logical perspective, understand what I was doing, where I was going, and how it all came together before I could actually tap into the wisdom of my heart, into the wisdom of spirit. The journey also taught me that the head acquires knowledge. The mind is the intellect, and the heart is spirit. And in order to bridge the two, my journey was all about understanding, and understanding became the key that connected, that unlocked the door to the bridge that connected the head to the heart, the mind to the spirit. And that's how Imeology became a self-originated concept. Through Imeology, I developed a model of understanding called C3, Color-Coded Consciousness, which is a combination of everything that I'd learned. Nothing that I studied or learned, or any of the knowledge that I'd acquired, was a waste of time or useless or didn't serve any purpose. All of it came together right at the end when I did the energy work. All of the dots started to connect, and everything that I'd learned became a separate layer of understanding of self, of myself as a person, of why I'm here and what my journey is. And I realized very deeply that my purpose, our purpose as human beings on the planet, is simply to live. It's why we choose to come here, so we can experience what being human is all about. And we only experience that through living, because living in itself is the experience. And everything that comes with it, all of the challenges, the good times, the bad times, everything, every experience is exposing us to awakening our humanness, to rising into our human selves. We are not here for a spiritual awakening. We are spirit. We come from spirit. We will always be spirit. We are here for a human experience. And to be able to grow into our authenticity and who we are meant to be in this world, to be the best that we can be, to show our uniqueness and share that with the world, we need to embrace being human. Becoming spiritual is not about shifting away from being human and letting go of human habits or thought patterns at all. It is more about embracing being human, embracing what it means to traverse this territory and experience everything that the human life has to offer. Every experience brings with it wisdom. It brings with it learnings. It brings with it growth. Growth that helps us tap into our innate wisdom, where the mind is intellect and acquired knowledge. The heart houses spirit and our innate intelligence, which we are born with. So the journey of being human and surrendering to the experiences actually opens us up. It broadens our perspective, it broadens our mind, but more than that, it broadens our connection, it intensifies our connection to the heart, so that we can tap into the wisdom and we can start to learn to trust our intuition, to follow our gut, to listen to our heart. In a young age, we told these things by people older than us, people that we trust. But no one actually teaches us how to do that. No one teaches you how to trust your gut, to listen to your intuition. The only time we do that by default is when our lives are in danger. Because at that point, the heart overrides the head. And that in itself tells of the instinctive protection mechanism of spirit. The prime directive of the heart and the mind is to protect us. But the heart is so much quicker because it doesn't need to process things. It doesn't need to think about something. It doesn't need to follow a system to be able to act. It is instinctive. It is intuitive. It is a direct connection. It is It is the fundamental basis of who we are. Whereas the head first needs to make sense of what's going on, and then it needs to be able to engage in a plan of action and blah, de, blah, de, blah. You get my drift. So the heart, in as much as it is all of the things that I have mentioned, it is a lover, it is not a fighter. It understands that our choice to be in this world is our choice to experience being human. And it allows us that. It never overrides the head. It always gives the head first preference to make decisions, to make choices, because that is part of being human. That is what the human journey is all about. The heart will only come into play when we are putting ourselves in, or our lives in danger, where it sees that in that moment, at that time, the head doesn't have the immediacy of capacity to be able to deal with that situation. So
Wow, Sharon, sorry
ideology in
to
my
Sharon, just 1 second, because you said something that actually everything you said resonates with me, and I'm sure our listeners are mesmerized by your message. I just wanted to come back to something which is a very intriguing topic for myself and most of our listeners. So your book is Wisdom of the Heart. And you are talking there about energy. You are passionate about being true to yourself. You are passionate about the people around you, because you turn, in order to come to this point in your life, or you understand the good, the bad, the ugly, as a wonderful wonder of the world, and giving you the chance to be the spiritual being you are. You are just sending good energy to the people around you, to the people you are traveling with, to the people you are residing the same address, to your neighbors, and you inspire them. You are a good friend and a good wife, a good mother, a good sister, a good citizen. And my question is, on behalf of our listeners, how do you save the
yeah,
planet? I mean, lifting people out of poverty, creating economic growth, that they're all part of the same battle. And we have big challenges like climate change, like economic scarcity, like poverty, lack of food, women's, you know, empowerment. I mean, all are coming down to in your opinion and mine. I share that with you greatly, to energy. However, for somebody who is starving right now,
yes,
somebody who cannot see the bigger picture, somebody who cannot understand the journey you take from your mind to your heart, the 18 inches journey, what is your advice? What somebody could do? Because I've been to South Africa a couple of times, and I know what I love the most in South Africa are the people, the local people, and I know how spiritually adult they are. They reach the maturity of spiritual self because they are coming from a place of pain. Unlike other
okay,
people from Western societies who take everything for granted and they don't know they waste energy, they waste water, emotions and everything without thinking that what you give is what you get. People in South Africa understand that very, very well, and yet they struggle with poverty. They struggle to communicate their message. They struggle to let the world know what they know. And
okay,
what is your message to them? What is your message to the people who are in a they are crushed under economic demands. They are crushed by poverty. They are crushed by confusion. And you see, because I'm passionate about energy myself, and I'm always working, is an inside job. Always I'm working on creating the, or unleashing the best
Hello.
version, unleashing the best version of myself. So tell me, what is your key message for our listeners, how they could get from where they want to where they want to be? Sharon?
Hello.
Yes, we are here.
Sorry, it just went blank for a little while. I didn't hear anything.
Yes, I know the connection is dropping at your end time to time. So I wonder, what is your key message for the people who want to use the energy, who want to unleash their better version of themselves, but they don't know what to do next?
Well, Marina, one of the most valuable things I learned through my journey and especially in developing the model of color-coded consciousness, is that there are 9 levels on the in the model of color-coded consciousness, and every level is a level of consciousness, of awareness, and of mindfulness. So everything that exists on the planet exists to serve somebody. No matter how we view it, depending on where we are on the levels of consciousness, we have different perspectives towards everything in the world. But everything, no matter how bad it seems, exists to serve people's growth. So if I am starving, if I fall into that category of poverty and starvation, and I am in that, that would be a level 1, and it would be a red. In terms of energy and color, it's a red. So that level is about learning to embrace that space, and learning, that is learning to find certainty in uncertainty. It's learning to be able to build. It's a creative space. So it's learning to be able to build sustainability and stability in one's life.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
yes, many people say
Sorry
to me,
to
what?
interrupt you right there. So perhaps the connection dropped when I asked you. I asked you, how comes that people who live in South Africa, who are so spiritually rich, really, really rich, and I've been always questioning why people need to go there and teach them awareness when actually
Yes,
we can learn from you. So the very same people who are so spiritually rich are very poor. This was my question. I know I think
that's true.
the connection dropped. So how do you explain that? How it's a contradiction in terms. So in order to embrace your spirituality and who you are, because the answers are not outside yourself, and you are not looking for yourself. You are the answer to all the
Yes,
questions. You are the answer to abundance. You are the best kept secret, basically. So
yes.
how comes that this exceptionally people who are so gifted, who are so aware of their spirituality, who come from such a painful place, and they learn through
I'm sorry,
pain.
last bit, I didn't get it.
Yes, how comes that the very same people who are so rich spiritually are so poor in society?
I'm sorry, Marina, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, so how comes that very spiritual people are very poor in society, in our society? Connection is lost, I think, again. Can you hear me, Sharon?
Now I can. Now I
Yes.
can.
Okay, so how comes that very spiritual people, very rich spiritually people, are so poor in our society?
No, well, that is not my perspective, Marina. I understand things a little bit differently in my world. We are all spiritual, no matter where we are. Starting at Okay, first of all, when we talk about rich and poor, those are that is a thinking pattern that's been programmed and instilled in us from a purely left brain perspective. So when we consider what is rich and what is poor, whether it is in terms of money or spirituality, um, we are boxing something, we are framing something. Whereas in terms of being human and in terms of being spiritual, we we are always spiritual. Okay, we are growing into a human space, we are awakening as humans, and to be able to do that, to become the best that we can be and serve the planet in the best way that we can, we need to be able to surrender to the process. And surrendering to the process means that we surrender to the experience of everything that every experience has to offer, whether that is being poor, whether it's being sexually abused, whether it's being um, all of the negative things that that can think about on the planet. They all exist to grow us into expanding our humanness, into growing our humanness.
Yes,
So,
I totally
you know,
understand,
we
and this brings me back to a very good example, a very good question somebody asked me last year, and I didn't know how to answer, but I will ask you the same question. So, if somebody gives you $100,
I am so loving this conversation, and I am so such a poor connection.
okay, so if somebody is giving you $100, how much money you have? Hello, Sharon?
Hello, I'm here.
Yes. So if somebody is giving you a $100 banknote, how much money you have?
$100.
So if somebody folds that $100 banknote into 10, how much money is worth that note?
It's still $100.
If somebody takes the same bill of $100, spit on it, make it and throw it into on the floor, how much is that worth?
It's still $100.
So you see, this is my point. My point is that these people who've been through terrible experiences, they still have the same worth. No matter what happened to them, no matter they lost everything, no matter they lost their pride, no matter they lost their their childhood, no matter what happened to them, they still worth the same as when they were before the bad experiences occur in their life. So to me, it's more a question of, do you understand your true
Absolutely.
worth? So it's not for the people in South Africa, which I met and for whom I have great respect, for me, it's not a question of growing through experiences. They were already there. They're ahead of us. They're ahead of everybody I know on this planet. What I think they need help with is to understand their true worth. The fact that no matter what had happened in their life, they still have the
Exactly.
same energy, the same worth, and they have to start to deliver their true worth without feeling they are less than others. What is the key message for today, Sharon?
Yeah.
What is the key message? Your key message for today?
Well, my message for today would be that as spiritual beings having a human experience, our intuition and our innate wisdom is so vast. It is limitless, and it's just endless.
I think the connection is really bad. Uh, Sharon, I'm losing you.
We
Please connect with Sharon.
always, no matter where we are, what we're doing, what direction we're going, in the choices we make, we are always guided instinctively. without us being aware, always guided by that. And even though we don't always trust it, what we can always choose to believe is that whatever we're doing, we're always doing it for the best. We appreciate life in retrospect. It's only when we look back on our lives that we realize that if it hadn't been for the things that had happened, we would not be who we are today. We would not be where we are today. So for me, the message for today would really be to live in the moment, appreciating the lessons that we can learn from wherever we're at and whatever we're doing, no matter how bad it feels at the time.
Wow, this is so beautiful, Sharon. I'm so grateful you are here, and I'm so grateful you are sharing your message, because you really share with us and our listeners wisdom of the heart, a giant heart. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Thank you.